today. Oh, ho, ho. I'm about to slap me a ninja today. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, shit. My bad. What's going on, people? What's going on, people? Man, we going here live on the Solo Dolo Kid Cudi side of the game. K Styles here, aka the Sixth Man, and this is another rendition of the 6MK versus Kev show. So we appreciate they're just experimenting with a little bit of different times here. So we definitely just appreciate anybody that's going to show up here. Um, as I always say, man, like I said, if you're new to the channel, if you make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share, cause we about to have a good conversation here. Um, let's see. Shout out to Georgia, Texas boy coming in here. Say what's happening. Say some K man, like sports. So when you see in the title 6MK versus Kev, this is Solo. Sonya, what's going on? What's going on? That's one of my favorite ladies in my life right there. That's Sonya, aka the godmother. And we got a conversation here that we're gonna go ahead and set up for the day, man. We gonna, as you saw as the title, we're gonna talk about Mr. Devine Deablo. Like you said, if you know what these shows is gonna be, it may not be no more than 30-45 minutes. And like you said, we usually end these shows on Q&As. So let's go ahead and get right into it, man. The question is, what will be Divine Diablo's impact for the Atlanta Falcons in 2025? This show right here is where you're going to get my uninterrupted thoughts on subject matters, which is solely based on what y'all bring to my table. Southside, what's going on? Tony Hall, what's happening? Let's get right into it, man. So, I know with the Atlanta Falcons, the main talking points right now, as far as after the draft, is the excitement of said guys Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman. But I definitely want to talk about a particular guy that was picked up in free agency. And you may have heard this not only from Mad Mike Sports, but you also heard from Jew Talk Sports. And I want to give my thoughts on Mr. Uh yeah. Let me do it right, Mike. It's just K Styles. I want to talk about the newest linebacker in the linebacker core, Mr. Divine Deablo. As for those that don't know, Divine Deablo is of a reminiscence of what Deion Jones was to Atlanta Falcons. And what I mean by that, he's kind of an undersized type middle linebacker who specializes in covering space. Now, for those that may not have recently heard, Divine Deablo, to me, was one of the most underrated free agent signings for the Atlanta Falcons for this upcoming season, because for the simple fact that in 2024, our linebacking core had a problem with covering guys all around. And this is a speciality for him. But if you heard the news about what Jeff Ulbrich, what a Raheem Morris, and what this organization is looking at him to be is he has impressed a lot of people within this organization so far in camp, where they're talking about actually putting the green dot on him for the upcoming 2025 season. Now, for those that may not know what that means, the green dot is the primary communicator on defense, especially at the linebacker position, because most of the time your Mike linebackers or your middle linebackers are your major communicators. So Jeff Ulbrich coming into this situation is already looking at it as, I have a lot of trust in this guy. I've seen this guy before. And Ulbrich has coached guys, especially with the Jets, with the Small Woods and the Quentin Williams style of things. This is a particular style of linebacker that he really does like. Now, how do I feel about Devine Deablo having the green dot for 2025? I'm going to be honest with you. I love it because essentially what that does is that allows a Caden Ellis, who had the green dot for this defense for the last couple of years, to more so play in a more natural role for him, which is attack the line of scrimmage. As we already know with Caden Ellis is not really a great cover linebacker. We saw with Nate Lambert last year, he wasn't a great cover linebacker. Troy Andersen, he's 50-50 here. But the problem with him is, are we going to see a full season with him? And I don't think you want to put everything on Jalen Walker at the moment right now. So, like you said, Devine Deablo was a signing that kind of told us what they're thinking of what they want this defense to be. We got Mad Mike Sports in here. We got D Coleman. Like I said, y'all definitely make sure y'all leave questions in here while we talking here, so that way we can, get different aspects on different things to see if you could pick my brain a little bit, and I'm gonna pick yours. Now, let's look at the measurables. 6'3", 230. Not necessarily a thumper, but like you said, he moves well in space. But Beanard with the good her is in the building. What's going on, man? What's going on? If we paid attention to Atlanta Falcons football in 2024, one of the biggest weaknesses that this team faced last year, and let me go ahead and put this reference point on. Let me put this reference point on here. The Atlanta Falcons defense was one of the 10 worst defenses in the NFL last season. And one of the major reasons, outside of them not getting sacks, was the fact that the middle of the field was the weak point of the whole entire defense. And for those that don't know what the middle of the defense is, it's essentially the linebacker room. The linebacker room in itself was a weak point because you essentially started off with 2 to 3 linebackers that really are not specialized at covering guys in the middle of the field. This is why when you saw teams early on were putting their top wide, well, it wasn't even just early on. They pretty much did the whole damn season. They started putting their number ones in the slot to take advantage of those coverages that the linebackers couldn't do. K. Nellis is a pass rusher. Let's just keep it real right here. K. Nellis is a pass rusher. Y'all love him all y'all want to. Motherfucker pass rusher. Nate Laminin was a thumper. Couldn't cover worse shit. Troy Andersen, he's a joker. He's whatever. We don't know what the hell he specializes in, but he's athletic enough to be an impact player. But I want to ask everybody a question that's watching right now. How would you feel? How do you feel about the possibilities of a Devine Deablo being the green dot linebacker for this defense in 2025? Because my personal opinion, it makes perfect sense because you kind of want that head honcho on your defense to be able to cover a lot of different things at one point in one time. Like I said, Caden had the green dot the last couple years, but he specialized in attacking a line of scrimmage and and being an edge rusher. That's what his specialty is. Mucho, what's going on? What's going on? He said, "Who picked Nate anyway?" Now Nate Lamont did exactly what we needed him to do. Like you said, the thing about it is he had his weaknesses and stuff as well. Um, Southside said he has the most cover skill with athleticism out of linebackers on the roster, so I'm fine with it. Nicholas Harvey, what's going on? Said as long as he stayed healthier than Troy did, he just need everybody to stay healthy. And that's really the biggest thing that comes down to it, man. Like you said, the greatest ability is availability. Yeah, like you said, Nate Lamont is with the Rams, so essentially he's just gonna play the role of a thumper in LA because they got a multitude of guys that can play that cover style. So he just pretty much just have to play one role. Um, D. D. Coleman said the unknown isn't uneasy for me personally. Ask Raider fans on Reddit and YouTube chats about Deablo, and they said it wasn't the fondest of him, but the Raiders. So I don't know. The thing is with Divine Deablo, like I said, if you're expecting him to be one of the greatest linebackers in the league, like I said, it is not going to happen. The Raiders' defense was not that great last year, so a lot of guys look bad. But the thing about it is when you're talking about Divine Deablo, you're bringing him here to play a specific role, and the specific role is to be the guy that has the ability to be more rangy in that linebacker room. You pretty much got everything else you need. Like I said, yo tandem linebacker in the middle, K Nellis, is basically yo Chris Draft. He's your guy that is going to be used to be more of a physical presence, crashing the line of scrimmage type of guy, and that's where we want Caden Ellis to be. That's where he specializes in. But like I said, even if the Raiders fans say they weren't too fond of him, I'm gonna tell you right now, ever since Deion Jones has been gone from Atlanta, you haven't had a cover linebacker here in Atlanta since. Yeah, The same Deion Jones that the Atlanta Falcon fans ran out of Atlanta for such and such. And now realizing that that specific skill set is what's important to a defense. Now, do I expect Devine Deablo to lead this team in tackles? No, I don't care about that. The Atlanta Falcons in 2024 run defense was pretty much middle of the pack as far as the NFL concerned, which could be better, but it's good enough. The biggest issue that we had defensively is we couldn't stop the pass worth jack shit. Now, that could be contributed to a lot of sacks, a lot of a lack of sacks. Let me say that right. Yeah, lack of sacks play a part in it. Not being able to cover the middle of the field could play a part of that. It could be every now and then giving up big plays down the field. But what we've seen that was consistent, especially in the first 10 to 12 weeks of the season, is that the middle of the field was definitely the weakest part of this defense, even though most people thought that the corner position was going to be the weakest part of this defense. Saying Raiders fans did mention he was athletic as hell, but he wasn't the best tackler and decent in coverage, like y'all saying, so that tracks. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, we got guys on this defense that's athletic enough to float to the football, to gang up on the football. But like you said, the main thing that I was more worried about is who we gonna get to cover the middle of the field. Because if you look at the schedule that's coming up this year, you got a lot of teams that like to attack the middle of the field that we're playing against this year. And you need guys that's able to do that. Like you said, Jalen Walker is one of those hybrid guys who could possibly be one of those guys that they plug and play in certain situations. Smooth C, what's going on, man? Say if Deablo is competent enough for us to allow Caden to mix it up more, I'm cool with that. Caden side by side, the AK attacking was dangerous last year. And yeah, that was a very viable weapon. The thing about it is, at that point in time, they realized because the middle of the field and the coverage in the middle of the field was so weak that they had no choice but to attack the line of scrimmage and take their chances there. Said pass rush and middle has been weak for years. Also, I wouldn't dismiss Andersen so easily. And I'm glad you said that too, because and this is the second part of this live right here is Troy Andersen. Does this make Troy Andersen more expendable for the Atlanta Falcons in 2025? It's a possibility, but I say it makes the Atlanta Falcons a little bit. They gives them another toy to play with as far as the versatility. And like you said, like you said, Troy Andersen could be essentially treated exactly like Caden Ellis. Troy Andersen's greatest weakness is we don't know what the hell he specializes in, but we know what he does is he's a football player, which means he does whatever the hell he needs to do whatever he needs to do. I know that sounds like a damn lot that I just said in that one sentence. But The thing is, they have to make a decision on Troy Andersen as if he is a guy that I can keep here for the next couple years. Because I think 2026 is a contract year for him, if I'm not mistaken. And Arnold Ebiketie, both of them came out the same draft. So both of those guys are going to be going under contract years in 2026. So we're not going to know what the urgency is with Troy Andersen until next season. But his athleticism and the fact that he's willing to do whatever needs to be done is a weapon in itself. Like I said, I can make a declaration here right then and there. It's a possibility you may see Troy Andersen more of an edge rusher this year than you would in the middle of the field. I'm just saying. Let me see. It only makes him expendable if he misses even more time again this season. In a perfect world, Troy is healthy and mans the middle with Deablo from 2026 forward. And that's not that. And like I said, those are good expectations to have. But like I said, Caden Ellis is more dangerous on the edge than he is in the middle of the field. And Troy Andersen is more dangerous on the edge than he is in the middle of the field. So you got to make a decision here on the type of guys that you want flowing from sideline to sideline and crashing to the line of scrimmage. And like I said, I'm gonna make a guarantee right here, and you've heard it here first. Troy Andersen stay healthy for a full 17 game season. This Atlanta Falcon defense may be a top 5 defense if he stays healthy. Just for the simple fact that he is a jack linebacker. He like I said, he does a lot of damage all over the field. Like I said, he does have the range. Like you said, the instincts don't really say middle linebacker, but the thing is, his instincts are more so edge than anything. But he has the mentality of, I want to do whatever I need to do. So he's definitely one of those guys that at the worst, at the most surprising case scenario, he may line up at some safety. You may not need him. You ain't gonna need him to do that. But like you said, they could be certain packages that they have. The thing is with Jeff Ulbrich kind of learning under the Robert Saleh tree, and with him kind of being a veteran of the San Francisco 49ers way from his playing career, he understands that when you have certain guys like that, like you said, with Deablo and Troy Andersen, these guys benefit playing all over the field. Wherever you need them to do, this is where the defensive mismatches come in at. Let's see. Icon E9 says like Waller and Fitzpatrick. Man, could be. Said JD next to Deablo for years because JD was an actual middle linebacker at Notre Dame. Yeah. I mean, like you said, they have a lot. They have a lot of guys that can play a lot of different positions. This is the advantage. This is a great advantage that the defense can have this year because 90% of your linebackers could play all 3 to 4 spots on the field. So you're not going to know exactly who's coming. You don't know exactly where one is going to be lined up at. And you don't know who's going to be dropping back. Like you said, the greatest issue going to come into is who is going to stay healthy, who wants it more, and who's going to step up. Because even with JD Bertrand got a lot of concussions. He's got concussion issues too. So that, like I said, that's another question mark. Hence maybe why they went multiple safeties in the draft this year, just to cover up that scenario. Um, yeah, Mike. Yeah, there's no linebacker. There's no safe linebacker to be honest with. Yeah, like you said, but Joe, because if you look at Caden Ellis, Troy Andersen, Devine Deablo, Arnold Ebiketie, Braylon Trice, these are your main five. D'Angelo Malone, 6. These are all athletes. They're all athletes. They all play wherever you need them to play at. But it's just gonna go back to the main conversation that we have before. Well, Ebiketie, Braylon. Let me see. Oh, let me count this again because I just lost count. Let me see. Troy Andersen, Kay Nellis, Divine Diablo, D'Angelo Malone, Braylon Trice, James Pierce, Jalen Walker. So essentially, you have about 7 to 8 linebackers that have the capability. Well, really 7, because James Pierce is really a primary pass rusher in itself. So you have at least 6 to 7 linebackers who have the ability to play in a multitude of positions on the in the middle of the field. So you probably gonna hear Mike talk about this. You might hear Juan talk about this, or hell, I might talk about this later on. With the versatility that we have in the linebacker room, that means your guys like Ruka Rororo, your guys like Brandon Dorless, Morgan Fox. These guys, like you said, Laquel London. These guys are going to be very important to see how this defense fares out with these interchangeable linebackers in itself. Because if we're not getting no push up the middle to force these quarterbacks to move side to side or try to push the pocket to the outside, then these athletic linebackers, these athletic pass rushers, do not get the opportunity to make plays. And if they don't have the opportunity to make plays, are we going to see the same results from 2024? Like I said, this is Jeff Olbrich's baby, and this is Raheem Morris's baby. So this is why for the Raheem Morris stands, if you hear people that say about him as why the excuse there is no excuses there, it's because essentially you've built this defense in the mold of what the defenses that he's used to being around. Jeff Olbrich used to being around. And as the overseer, this is where the responsibility of you niggas come in at. So before we get to the Q&A part, I'll just say this one last time. Deablo, Troy Andersen, these two guys are going to be keys for this defense to do what it need to do to get better and to be a reckoning force for 2025. So let's see, we 30 minutes in. Got about 10 more minutes, so we're gonna let y'all go ahead and ask me some questions here, and whatever questions that are not answered will be used in a future show, Q&A, etc. So I definitely want to make sure that all of y'all are involved in these shows, not just here at System K Live, but Man Mike Sports, Holy Alliance. You know how that go. So while waiting for some questions, I'm gonna sing a song because we all trying to be great over here. Oh, oh, be great, my ninja, be great. I just wanna be great. So this is your opportunity right here to ask questions, Q&A it up. And if we ain't got no questions within the next couple minutes, we just gonna go ahead. We just gonna go ahead and we're gonna end the live. Let me know what y'all think about the concept of saying fuck Man Body Sports. This K Styles time. Let me know what y'all think about that. Yeah. Like I said, we ain't worried about Mike. We'll sing over here all day. Some bitch. See, he just mad. He just mad because I want to sing about all of us being great over here. Let's see. It's 32 minutes. Well, since we ain't got no questions coming up in here, we're gonna go ahead and end it on that note. Like I said, stay tuned. Tomorrow we will have the STS. We gotta get with the fellas and come up with a conversation for that. And like you said, y'all make sure y'all tune in to the regulators tomorrow morning on Atlanta Falcon Nation LLC. So, man, like I said, appreciate y'all. Let me come in here and annoy y'all for about 30 minutes. So, hold on. Mujo said, 4th and 1. Other team going for it. What linebackers you putting in on the field? Linebackers you putting in on the field? Well, 4th and 1. You want K Nellis. You want Troy Andersen. And you might be surprised when I say this. If we're talking about in the alignment that we're talking about, if I chose 3 linebackers, it'll be Troy Andersen, K Nellis, D'Angelo Malone. I'm just gonna be honest with you on that one. Because those are going to be your 3 best run stoppers in that position group. All right, we about to get up on out of here. Like I said, man, y'all make sure y'all continue to support System K Live over here. Like I said, we're gonna do more of these. But the thing about it is, if you want me to do more of these, every time I'm about to get the hell up out of here, y'all got a question coming. All right, let's see. We're gonna do two more questions. Once we hit the 40-minute mark, I'm getting up out of here, y'all. But he said, do you think with all of the talent on this team, who is gonna be the odd man out in 2026? Are you giving me what you talk about, offensive player and defensive player? Defensive player, the odd man out is going to be D. Alford. Defensively, I think he's going to be the odd man out. Offensively, the odd man out offensively is going to be Kyle Pitts. That's about as easy as I can say. Yeah. They probably wondering why. They probably be sitting here wondering like, why you say Kyle Pitts? Because y'all motherfuckers is fucking selfish. That's why I said Kyle Pitts. Y'all want Kyle Pitts to lead this team in damn receiving, but we sitting up here having an offense, a productive ass offense outside of damn, outside of turnovers, a very productive offense. He's gonna be the odd man out for the simple fact is you have to make a decision between him or Drake London. And unfortunately, when you follow the trail of money, you're going to lean more towards Drake London than Kyle Pitts. So that pretty much comes down to it. All right, man. We about to get up on out of here, man. Like I said, bro. Like I said, y'all just let me know if this is something y'all want to see or y'all want me to just shut the hell up and never do this again. Like I said, y'all just let me know. I just ask everybody the question. Do you never want me to do this again? Or do you want me to continue to do this thing solo like this? Because I haven't heard no feedback from nothing. Oh, Lord. Yeah, Mike, I see what you're talking about. All the questions, we're about to roll up out of here. All the questions come out. He said, that's not true. But uh, he just want Charlie Warner. Hey, look, you might well put Charlie Warner at tight end one. Like you said, if you got Ray McLeod as your third, as from what Falcon fans have told me is Ray McLeod is more important to this offense than Kyle Pitts. Damn shit. You had Charlie Warner tight end one. Lord have mercy, man. We about to get up on out of here, man. For real, for real. All right, man. Appreciate y'all. We gonna do this again. Y'all just got, like I said, y'all gotta leave the questions. You gotta leave the feedback so you can help a brother out with some of these topics. Not just for me, but for Mike, for Juan, Sam, for Atlanta Falcon Nation, and etc. So we gonna be out of here. Appreciate you and tune in tomorrow. All right, folks. We out here.